Good morning, everyone. Al, cut the music. Cut the music. I am not thrilled this morning. Not thrilled. First of all, I want to say good morning to you, Al. Good morning,
Good
Michael.
morning, guys.
Michael, Lauro. Good morning.
Patrick, did someone urinate in your Cheerios this morning? Because
Urinate.
urinate. You are fired up this morning, my friend.
I thought he paid extra for that.
Urinate.
I thought he did too, but
Someone came into my house, dropped their pants down. Not the way.
whoa, time. Stop right there. Look, see coffee right here. Look,
Holy cup.
not even halfway done yet.
Not even a sip.
No, not even a sip. I know where you're going with this.
No, it's not that way. Someone just came in, dropped a load of my scrambled eggs this morning. Because if you would have told me that the Philadelphia Phillies were going to head on the West Coast, being successful in this past whole season that they've been on, and I told Joe Sullivan, don't worry, we're good and we're dangerous on the West Coast. However, we only got one game out of 5 so far on the West Coast.
Yes.
And if you would to tack on last week's game, getting shut out by the Pittsburgh Pirates of all teams, this is a disgrace of what I'm seeing. I don't know. Hold on. Hold on. Before he hit the timeout on me, before he pinched my nipple over here, I need to know what in the world is going on. I mean, did the clock strike midnight? I mean, what in the world is going on with the Phillies? I mean, because what I saw yesterday, the game was going good. Gene Segura and Bryson Stott were about the only two that showed up. The pitching is looking awful again. The defense, Rhys Hoskins, I mean, this is the Rhys Hoskins of April. He can't stop anything going between his legs. I mean, it looked bad. I mean, Mike, I'm going to go to you on this. What the hell is going on? Because apparently it's not grab me by the junk by all means.
Okay, well, you're junk grabbing and all this other stuff. And you got to put it aside. It's the ebb and flows of baseball. That's going to happen. Okay, Pittsburgh Pirates are a bad team, and yes, they did shut them out last week. But even a bad team wins 60 games, Pat. Even a bad team wins 60 games a year.
True.
So, I mean, you got to take a look at it. They literally had the two places back to back where they are. It's the house of horrors for the Phillies. The Phillies can't win. They can't win in Arizona, and they can't win in San Francisco. It's just been one of those things that eventually, hopefully, somewhere down the line that they can turn around and right the ship like they did this year against the Marlins. It's a work in progress. Okay. You also, too, you got Castellanos coming out of the lineup. Okay. With him, with that oblique. Okay. So you don't know how long he's going to be out for. Syndergaard, I've been a little disappointed in, but I kind of understand knowing what he's coming back from. Okay, he's coming back from Tommy John. Usually when you first start coming back from Tommy John, you're just looking to try to get your timing right, I guess, out of it, and get your pitch selection. Okay, his speed's going to come back. Like, his power is going to come back, but it may not be this year. As far as the lineup goes, I'm still seeing some positive things. All right, Kyle Schwarber went 2 for 4 yesterday out of the leadoff spot. Okay, Segura and Bryson.
He also had a bad defensive game.
He did
two drop balls. I don't know if it's his glasses or whatever. He just couldn't see anything.
Yeah, again, that's a house of horrors, man.
Yeah.
You get into a certain place, man. So no, and I'm not ready to hop off the bandwagon. It's just the ebb and flows. I'm not ready to say, okay, Eagle season starting on Sunday, let's go. I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to be rooting for a Red October, no matter how long the Red October is. You know what I mean? Like, this is our goal. The goal is to get to the playoffs. The Phillies still have to add some more pieces, and I think they will. But you just got
Dombrowski showed us everything that he will be willing. I mean, if anything, you can't complain if you look at the beginning of the season and the All-Star break. He's done.
Yes.
He's doing the best with what he has.
And he's not selling our good talent.
Like I said, I will sign up for if this was maybe one player or this was one game, but this has been almost the whole week of horrors. And look, just let alone this week.
But that's how baseball is.
Good.
I know.
Dude, look at the Yankees, dude. The Yankees were smashing everybody. From April until about 3 weeks ago, they were smashing everybody, dude. They got a 5-game lead now on Tampa. Dude, this is what I'm talking about. It's baseball. It's going to
Well,
play itself
they can't
out.
be playing cold baseball right now.
Would you rather have it now or September 27th or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because look, just let alone your pitching staff this week gave up 32 hits. 32 hits.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude, it happens. It happens. Like, dude, sometimes you're going to get into a little bit of a funk. Look at the Dodgers. Then the Dodgers, what was it? Right now, I think they lost, 2 games against the Padres, and they've owned the Padres all year.
Yeah.
It happens, man. Like, dude, it's the ebb and flows of baseball. This is why baseball drives you nuts. And if you follow game by game like you do, and I love you to death, and I watch them too, but you got to learn not to pull your hair out at every.
Well, that's what I'm just a weirdo like that, you know. But like I said, and I hope that my man, what's up, family from the past and half.
My son said that was my son had the greatest line. If you can go back to that first one, all points from Pat are invalid. He had Starbucks over Wawa and Dunkin'.
My man Evan, you can catch him on the Out of the Box talking Giants football. Hey Evan, listen, Nick Castellanos though, how important is he to this lineup apparently? Because I mean, he does lead the team in hits. And I don't know if it's something in the locker room with the guy. I mean, because apparently this team it's like you said, going through it. Weird signs. Harper came back to no. Listen,
well, hold on. I don't think the fish hobbyist. I still love your name.
I love that name. That's great.
Is so far off the beaten path in the sense that it's a change. They had a little growing pains when Harper left.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of found themselves. You get like baseball players especially are so accustomed to something that when it changes, even for the good, it takes time. Look at the Padres. They went and made all these big moves, brought on these like key guys, and they went on like a 5-game losing streak.
Right.
It can happen. My point is, like Mike, I'm not ready to jump off the bandwagon. I just bought my 6-game Phillies package.
There you go.
Because that locks me in for some playoff tickets.
There you go.
Because we're going, bro. In my eyes, unless this continues the next couple of weeks, maybe they just need to get back and get a little home cooking. Maybe they can squeak out the win today.
Yeah.
Be 2-4 on the stretch, which sucks. Don't get me wrong. But if that's the worst case scenario, I'm okay with it.
And plus, look back too, like really over the last really since he took, that was great. But if
3 minutes was actually not even close. It was about 30
seconds.
Yeah.
Yes.
It says here, there's one Thor ducked the Mets twice. It showed he's not Philly material. I disagree with that because that wasn't Thor's decision. That was that was
the man of the Monday nights, my man Joe Sullivan. Catch him every Monday night.
Yes.
Yeah, what's up, Joe?
Joe, yes. And Joe, good call.
That's what I'm saying.
Joe, good call on the Utah-Florida game. Joe was all on that yesterday. I got to give him his props on that.
Prop bet or props?
Both.
They
need Castellanos, but I think he's right here because
it's so funny though how just a couple months ago or 6 weeks ago,
we were
ready to run him out of town, but now they need him.
And Matty B was at the forefront.
And hold on, and guess what? And who was the guy that was sitting here telling you guys, y'all need to back off, okay? Because he's going to come around. He's going to be one of those guys that are going to help you as the season goes along. Like again, he's new here. This is. Sometimes it takes familiarity.
I'm not trying to be this guy that jumps ahead, but I can't wait to see this. Just this team as it is right now.
Come back next
year.
Oh, I can't wait either. Because now
a year under the belt with each other, they have a feel for it, a feel for the fan base. But I'm not ready to. I'm still riding the train now.
And same goes with Harper. A lot of people are just, and I get it. A lot of people are like, since he got back in the lineup, it hasn't been the same. Well, of
course.
You have to understand though, give him some time. Okay, Saturday was the only time he went over 4. He was still driving the RBI, so everybody just wants to see him hitting bombs. But again, he's an MVP caliber player. You just can't just sniff your nose away from that. You got to let him gel into the system.
Right, exactly. But him coming back and gelling too, you also got to remember too, they were also used to him not being in that lineup and them having to do other people pick up the slack. So now that he's back, maybe those same people that had to pick up the slack are kind of like, okay, he's back, and they're kind of off a little bit too. Because if you take a look too, Bohm's been horrible on this road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's been. Where's he been? And and he was one of the solid guys that's been there.
You just hope none of these guys are going cold for an extended period of time. You know what I mean? And listen, when this team's, if you ever notice, when this team is good, it's good all around. When this team struggles, it struggles all around. This has kind of been their MO for a long time.
And it's a joke. Is I'm not panicking yet. But a win today is important. Are you guys concerned about Wheeler?
I'm not. I mean, again, you got to take a look at everything from. I look at everything from the beginning, and Wheeler was kind of he had a late start too. So it's kind of like he's been off, I think, this year. I mean, he's been good. Don't get it twisted. He's been good, but like I just feel like he's off. He's not I don't feel like he was as dominant as he was a year ago. Like a year ago, he was a candidate for Cy Young.
Well, like I said,
You know what I mean? Like he's just been a little off.
What did Dave Arnold say there? Art. I mean, now.
See, in September, it is September. So,
see, it's September. You know what, Dave? You're better when your mouth is closed. Please.
No, listen, but listen though,
listen, we all know Dave's a Cowboys fan, but is he like a closet Mets fan too? Because I feel like
he's just a.
I feel like
Pat would know.
Pat would know. Would they share the closet?
Oh, probably. They probably take turns going in and out.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely come. I mean,
and the closet.
Right. But here's the thing: like everybody's so sold about the Mets, right? And I'm telling you, the Mets are they're not going to come out of the NL. They're really not. Like I don't think that they're even going to win the division. I think they're going to choke this division away. I mean, I really do. I think they're going to choke the division away. I really do. I mean, it's just something about September and those New York Mets, man. And this team ain't so much different. You know what I mean? They just, like I said, they've been, I guess, fortunate for, I guess, where they play teams and when they play them.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard for them. The Braves are only 2 games out.
That's what I'm saying. But I've been calling this since, they were 10 games.
Now, the Phillies, between this last stretch and not getting it done in New York, for us to kind of come up and take the division. It's not mathematically out, but it's
close.
I threw that out about 2 months ago, and I said I'm not worried about.
Like to be honest with you,
we're 11 and a half games out of first.
Right, and like I'm sorry, but the Mets would have to do a historical collapse for the Phillies to catch them. I mean, not to say that it's not out of the realm because we did. We did catch them in 07 with only 2 games. Was it? It was like within 2 weeks we caught them, but we also had head-to-head games with them too. So that's what kind of helped. So there's no head-to-head games with them right now. So.
Evan's saying he's not worried about losing for a stretch, but bomb multiple times in a game is worrisome. Like I said, I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to worry about that right now. I mean, Bohm has been one of the most consistent guys, but even Bohm goes through stretches of every baseball player when they're struggling. Once again, this looks just to me like the Mets series. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that we were beat because they were just a better team.
No, we were beating ourselves.
We were falling up. We were in our heads. So I don't know if they came out in Arizona and thought they would just wallop them because Arizona's a bad team.
Go back to Wednesday's game. I thought we would be, that looked like the norm, like we were supposed to be doing. Like they put up 18-2, and I'm thinking that was going to carry over. However, I felt like, then we went back to playing, April baseball, where it's Mike been all over the Braves like a
wow.
Listen.
That's what we call a vicious cockfight right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna drink my coffee on that one.
But like, I just felt like this is back to April baseball, and like I said, we're not losing. It's just us being ourselves. The deficiencies on the outfield, the giving out cookies and all that stuff.
But don't you think the outfield's really kind of gotten better now? If you really take a look at it, I mean, Castellanos is not playing in the field, okay, but if you take a look at it. I mean, Marsh is supposed to be a really good center fielder / right fielder. Verling, like really the only spot that you're really worried about in the field is in left field with Schwarber. You know what I mean? So defensively, they should be better, especially with having Marsh and Verling playing.
But coming up short, and they look like they're hacking at just about anything that comes over the plate.
That happens.
They don't look disciplined.
Yeah, listen. Just like the Mets game, they're trying to force something to happen. They do that. They either try to hit long bombs all day long,
right,
and then come up short all the time. And then what happens? The next game or two later, they start doing small ball. I mean, look at the game that they won 19-2. They didn't hit one home run. Not one home run.
That's the problem with the Phillies.
Yeah.
Like, that's my only issue with the Phillies. It's either long ball or bust. Like when they do break out and play small ball, they usually play all right. You know what I mean? And I think they got to get a couple pieces in the offseason that help them with that small ball game.
And the other thing to look at, which is a good thing, is that even in yesterday's game and the game before, the team where they struggled was the big bats, which we know they can get themselves situated, right?
Mm-hmm.
The guys who actually came through were your Bryson Stott,
Segura.
Segura.
Well, Segura's a big bat. I consider him a big bat.
Yeah, even though they put him in there, I think they put him down there purposefully just to spread out the base.
I mean, if you look at Bryce is doing his job. I mean, I looked at, like I said, I didn't watch much of I didn't watch any of the Phillies game yesterday. I'm not going to sit here and act like I did, but I watched the highlights, and I also saw, read the stats where, like, Bryce had 2 walks yesterday. So he was on base twice. So they're going to walk Harper. It's just the guys behind him got to start hitting. Like, dude, JT's only got he went
Well,
one
that's
for
why
4
I
yesterday.
say Singor and Bryson Stott were the only ones that showed up. I mean, apparently, because like I said, that was the only one that had anything left. And like you said, Alec Baldwin's been struggling on the road. And like my brother, like I went out to dinner with my in-laws yesterday. My brother-in-law bro, he's like he gave me the stat, but I forget what it was, but the Phillies can't survive. Like you say, can't do anything in the desert. Just can't play well in the desert.
Like the 2 House of Horrors that they go to is the big Coke bottle in San Francisco and the desert. And then what's funny? The only game they won in the desert was the one that Mikal Bridges threw out the first pitch. Did you hear the story about that?
No, didn't he? He was in a game they lost.
No, it was the 18-2 game. He threw out the first pitch.
Oh, did he not?
He was there. He had.
So wait, he was in the booth the one day, and then he threw out the pitch the next day.
Yeah,
I thought that was all the same day.
Yeah, right.
No,
because it wasn't a Mikal Bridges night or something.
Yeah.
Here's to the.
Did you hear about?
By the way,
my brother told me about this, man, because he's a Nova alum,
Yeah.
so he was following along with that. And so apparently they were having like a Twitter beef or whatever, and then he made a bet with the Diamondbacks. He's like, okay, well, when y'all get swept out of Philly, you're going to give me a Mikal Bridges night in Arizona when the Phillies come, and that's what happened. The Phillies swept them, and then he got his night.
And it's funny because leave it to Phillies once again, the Philadelphia Phillies organization to be kind of out of touch. You bring in a guy that we're all still sore about losing,
right?
One of those. He's probably one of the biggest.
No, we didn't bring him in. This was Arizona.
I know, but they brought him in the booth. I mean, like I said,
yeah.
I'm just sitting there going, like, wait a minute.
Yeah, we traded him for a bag.
We traded for a guy who's not even playing in the NBA anymore. Like, what a hose job that was. And then I'm like, I sit there, I'm telling you, think about it right now. We're the sixth now. Maybe we wouldn't have Tyrese Maxey, but for the most part, if you had Mikal Bridges on the Sixers team,
oh my God, they'd be
off
and running.
That's just like, and I'm not trying to go off the beaten path here, but they just had, Johnny Hockey just had a thing down South Jersey or something like that, and for a golf outing, and they invited like 975 to come out and all of that stuff. It's just like, wow, like we could be talking Johnny Hockey on this Flowers team, but some idiot in the front office, I don't want to talk.
You should sue them, and I know a guy who could do that for you.
I'm telling you, it was dumb. Oh, here we go. Speaking of,
I give him a segue. He just
he fumbles and stumbles.
He looks like Alec Boehm at the plate yesterday. He whiffed on that.
Because I get so upset talking about Chuck Fletcher. But anyway, guys, hit up my man David R. Cherry, work compensation, medical vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. Hit him up 610-565-0300. Great dude, man. Like I said, he's right here in Delaware County. Give him a jingle and help take care of you on all those personal needs.
Guys, if you bus trip only a couple weeks away, I cannot wait. Me and Big Al will be on that bus trip on our way to DC. Only $325. Lower level ticket. Your bus trip round trip. You're actually going to get fed, and there's going to be drinks down there and entertainment. And if there's enough, if I drink enough, I will be your entertainment, and I definitely will accept tips. But definitely check out PhillySportsTrips.com. I mean, you can't beat the price. $325. I mean, if you go to a game at the Link, you're spending like $400 before you even get in the building. Mm-hmm. And so that's before your first cheesesteak. So guys, make sure you check out our friends at Philly Bus Trips. And if you can't make it, not even to go to the game, they also do separate packages just for the tailgate. Like the tailgate alone is worth the admission.
Oh yeah. The tailgates for home games, away games. Now the DC trip, I think they may have extended it to the end of tomorrow or Tuesday, because before it was on the 31st.
Right, and I think they did. I got a letter saying it, so I think it's I think it's still tomorrow. It's the end of Labor Day. Yeah. So guys, if you have the last minute, get on the bus with us. Go down to DC. We're gonna have a great time. You can join me, me and Big Al, and along with Hollis Thomas. Bell and the Birdman, which is John Bartram and Vinnie Quinn. Come on down. We're going to take a nice bus trip down. And oh yeah, the Mighty E-Rock will be down there too. So we're going to be we're all getting together. We're going down there to boo our boy Carson. So let's go.
Yeah, I said, look, man, it's gonna.
And don't forget Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, right in Ridley Park. Like I said, there's always something awesome going on over there. We talked about the food. We talked about you never know when a famous ex-athlete might pop in. It happens at Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, right in Ridley Park. Check it out. And here is your lineup that you missed for most of the week if you haven't caught it yet. Most of the shows, except for your finals games, are podcasted. So if you have missed it, go check it out or go watch it all on the YouTube, wherever you want to get it, or eopsports.com for all your.
And it just keeps growing, man.
Dude, it does.
We're like a fungus. We just keep growing.
Yes, I like being the fungus. But anyway, back to this Phillies game. Like I said, Alec Boehm's been struggling this road trip. 0 for 5 yesterday. Not really anything positive from him. But let's talk about today's matchup. You have Ranger Suarez going against Carlos Rendon. 12-7, fourth best pitcher as far as strikeouts in the league. Mike, how you seen this one playing out today?
Well, the fish lobby says, "Come on, the Mets are better." Period. You don't go 5-14 against another team and say we beat ourselves. Well, yeah, I can say we beat ourselves because we beat ourselves in 4 of those.
We were just talking about those 3. I'm not saying like we should have won every game.
Well, I mean, come on, we had the Phillies had a monumental collapse.
In the beginning of the year, we were terrible. They took advantage of that.
I'm sorry, but like I don't know about this. Here he says the pitching staff, they also have a great closer. And then he said something about next year, steal DeGrom.
You can have DeGrom.
You can have DeGrom, okay? Because that dude spends more time on the injury list than he does pitching games. So I'm not worried about that. No, Dave's got a point there.
Yeah, and he does.
I mean, listen, this has been going on for years. This isn't anything new, Dave. This is this isn't this year. This isn't last year. This isn't the year before.
It's about an 8-year trend.
Yeah, but and that was one
the
of the
last time they had good records with runners in scoring position was when Bryce first got here, up until they collapsed at the end of the year with them. That's the last time they had a good one.
And that was their problem yesterday, is that they could have won that game. They left, guys in multiple scoring positions, twice off a triple. They could have done something. But like I said, Mike, going back to today's matchup, like I said, Ranger Suarez versus Carlos Rendon. He's 12-7. Like I said, fourth best as far as strikeouts.
Well, Rendon was almost a Philly at the trade deadline. I mean, he was really close to being a Philly. He's a good pitcher. So I personally, I'm rooting for the Phils not to get swept out, but it wouldn't surprise me. Rendon's one of them pitchers. He can take over. I mean, he could shut. Like, you want to talk about
but it's funny. This is where the game where the Phillies will win because of that reason. How many times have you watched this guy's been struggling and he's
and then he comes out
and
pitches
like 5 runs in every game in the last 5 games. He comes out and looks like a stud against us.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd like to see the Phillies win, but I think it's going to be tough. I mean, Rendon's a really good pitcher. He's a really good pitcher. So I think they lose today. I'll say 4-2.
Wow,
I think they get a little bristle.
So there's no chance
they get a little bristle burn. No, they have a chance. But what I'm just saying is, if you're looking at it right now on paper,
everybody has a chance at the beginning.
Everybody has a chance. But I'm just saying, this dude's a pretty good.
Yo,
pitcher.
I know.
He's like the Giants version of Aaron Nola. He gets no run support whatsoever. That's why I'm thinking it's going to be a low.
There's another thing. The San Fran has been known not to be getting a lot of runs across. They're losing one run games a lot. Like that's what's kind of been their Achilles heel all year long. Of course, when they play the Phillies, what happens? Yeah. They're getting runs galore.
Listen, they lost 7 in a row before the Phillies got to town.
Right.
And what's the first thing I did Friday night when I'm picking my baseball games? Right on DraftKings, I'm like, okay, they lost 7 in a row. Phillies are coming to town. Oh yeah, they're beating the Phillies. I mean, you just got to go with it.
So
Bailey Falter, an ace now. Starting pitching is horrendous.
I don't want to say he's an ace. But
I'll tell you what, he's a stopper though.
Yeah,
he's a stopper.
Apparently, the offense, answers the bell every time he's on the mound. But like I said, for me though, Ranger Suarez, I think he gets back into his groove. Like you said, it's gonna be tough to go against Carlos Rendon. I definitely I want to avoid the sweep. I don't want to see Gabe Kapler happy sticking to his old franchise. But I don't know. I think the Phillies will bounce back. I think it'll be the opposite. I think the Phillies will go off today. I think it's going to be more of a 6-1 win.
Okay. Well, Sean Kilrain says, "What's up, guys?" Outfielder Dalton Guthrie was pulled from Lehigh Valley's game. Phillies need outfield. Could Nick Castellanos
He injured his oblique with a swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just so. Here's the thing. Hopefully, it's just a little like I need a few days rest because an oblique can be a miserable, painful thing, and it could take time to heal. So hopefully, it's not a long oblique situation. The Wheeler thing. Here's the thing: is if you want to be worried about anything, here's your things you should be worried about. People are like, because like right now, what we've been stellar at has been kind of falling apart. Starting pitching in the bullpen. There's the areas where not that the bats have been much better, but it's been across the board. So that to me goes that can be rectified. I actually worry more about the bullpen than I worry about anything else. Hopefully, Wheeler's thing is not a long term problem. Hopefully, this oblique strain for Castellanos is not a long term thing. But like I said, have it now before September 27th, and if he's out with an oblique strain for 2 weeks, we have an issue.
I got a question for you
Big
guys.
time issue.
I got a question for both of you guys.
Mhm.
Off season, say they fall short, they don't make it, right?
They don't make the offseason at all?
No. I mean, they don't make postseason.
Okay.
They don't make postseason. This off season, you taking one of those 2 big bets that we got this past off season? You using that for trade bait?
Oh, it depends on it's always about compensation.
Yes.
I'm
depending
talking
on what you're getting.
right, but I mean, like, say there's
Well, yeah. What's out in the market?
yeah, like a high person, like either not a power hitter, but like I would say like a good starting pitcher, like a top notch starting pitcher, maybe some young arms to go replenish your farm system. You thinking about trading one of those big boy bets? Like minus Harper. Like I'm talking about the 2 that we signed this year, either Schwarber or Castellanos. Would you think about moving?
I would always think about moving anybody. Once again, if the price is right, depending on what you need. Like, here's my thing: is if we get what everybody's thought was going to happen, like say Aaron Nola just falls apart, right, and he just looks crap in September, and then if they do make the postseason and he looks like crap, you can keep him still because he's still cheap, but move him down the order and maybe find another solid 2. But I'm not giving up Schwarber for a 2. I mean, it would have to be a package deal. It would be hard. Plus, with their contracts, you would have to be willing to take them on.
Right.
So I'm with Al. Like it depends what the deal is.
But I'm just saying, though. I mean, would you guys have that option?
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
I would have it back in my mind.
If I'm a GM of any team,
yeah,
you want to talk to me. If I have Pat Mahomes as my quarterback, you want to talk to me about a trade? Talk to me about a trade. I mean, it's got to be a damn good trade, and I have to.
I'm not giving up Boardwalk just because for anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Right. Okay.
Let me see what it is.
That's what I just.
I'll listen to any phone call, even if it's ridiculous. Like if you called me up and said, "Oh, I'll give you a bag of balls for Kyle Schwarber," I'd be like, "All right, well, I'm not taking your calls anymore." But other than that, let's do this.
It's gonna be like Moneyball. But Al, so let me ask you, what's your feeling about today's game?
It's tough to have any good feelings about this team right now, especially on this West Coast trip. But if they're going to come out and once again just do what we don't expect them to do, they'll come beat a guy like Rendon. Like that's what they'll do. And if we have the Ranger that we've had, the good Ranger, this could be a low scoring game.
I think that's why I said like 3-1, 3-2, something like that.
It could be real close. It's going to be the defense that makes the difference. You got San Fran. Here's the funny thing: is you have San Fran coming in who had the worst defense in Major League Baseball,
and yet they look like they got 9 Gold Glovers out there.
Yeah, because we're out there on the field, and they got Kyle Schwarber who misses 2 balls. Listen, Kyle's not the greatest defensive player in any stretch of the means, but he ain't that big. Okay?
No, because
just like when people said Harper came in here, he's terrible.
No, but I mean, look if watching the whole game, even the Giants outfielders themselves, they were dropping the ball. So I mean, it's obviously the sun layout there is
the whole layout of that place. The wind, the way the wind blows, the way the sun comes in, all that different stuff. That place is odd.
Yeah,
it's an odd place to play, and even for guys who play there full time, not versus the guys who just visit. So my point is, I mean, this could be a game they win. If it's going to be like kind of like what Mike's saying, I'm saying like 5 total points, between both teams. Hopefully the bats can come back alive because it's like, was it feast or famine for this team? 19 runs. Think about it. We won the runs game in Arizona. We lost 2 games out of 3, but if you went back and just went by runs, we won.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous how it sounds. But like I said, hopefully this team will turn around today. Hopefully Rand Suarez gets in his old groove and just takes over the game, and hopefully our offense can answer to Carlos Rodon, and hopefully they can just do a number before he gets to them first. So guys, what's going on with the Hall?
Well, they're wondering why. He's probably wondering why they're not pulling him back up. So the September pull-ups are coming up, what, after tomorrow?
After tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
the
he'll
roster
probably be
expands.
back.
Yeah, the roster expands. I heard a lot. I heard a lot of good ones are coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you might see Painter, Abel. I don't know.
I hope we see Painter. I saw man.
Yeah, you're
I doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if this pitching staff continues to struggle and Wheeler's struggling, maybe they do bring these young guys up. Put a little some unknown, in there and throw.
Painter's the truth, man. I saw highlights.
Our boy Matty B. Pitching is serviceable. We need professional hitters spread throughout the lineup. 864 runs left on base for 133 games is hard. You're right.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah,
You're not wrong.
we touched down on that earlier. My man, Scott Sheldon, what's up, my man? Yes, since seeing the catcher, so I was pitching one night. Yeah. Look, Stubbs is
I like him. I
like
think
Stubbs. Like I
he's
said,
better than
He struggled too.
Yeah,
When he played, he struggled. I mean, listen, I think Stubbs used to pitch, Scott, to be honest with you, and they were just not wasting another pitching spot. I mean, they were hoping that the outlook of this was to save the bullpen a lot because these were teams where they could go deep with their starting pitching, but they didn't get that. And unfortunately, you had to put a position player in there, and Stubbs was that guy.
yeah. So, and look, it's funny because like seeing San Fran, you've seen Andrew Knapp yesterday catching for them, and you get Gabe Kapler. It's like
Phillies West.
Yeah. So listen, man, I'm going to shift gears here. I want to know your guys' thoughts. We got college football back in town. You had Penn State going on Thursday night. You had Temple going on. So Temple, obviously, if you're a Temple alumni or Temple fan, not looking good. They got shut up by Duke. Mike, what's your take on that? And what's your take on Penn State?
Okay. First, Temple's got a long way to go. But I like their coach. I think he's going to get them. Problem with Temple is like nobody wants to go to school in North Philadelphia, and that's always been the issue with
Why?
Temple. With Temple getting, I mean, did you hear? Did you hear they're trying to get a football-only stadium up there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they've been trying to do that
for years. Like, then it's never going to happen. Temple's just in the wrong place, and to be honest with you, I think they need to stick to basketball. They ought to cut the football program, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they need to save that school some money instead of. I mean, because it doesn't matter what conference. Either that or they need to not be.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but Ian Rappaport just noted the Cowboys are working towards a deal with former Eagles star and future Hall of Fame tackle Jason Peters. It's successful visit past week. Nothing is done, but there's mutual interest in getting done, and Peters could land with Dallas by Monday.
That's
good
fine.
for them.
Hey, good for him, man.
Good for them.
Well, they got a turnstile.
I was going to say, enjoy your turnstile, guys.
Listen, listen. Paul I was watching their show the other night, and Paul and Matt were sitting there like, "Oh, well, we'll take them." And I'm like, "Guys, listen,
on the brakes."
I'm like, "Listen, you're going to get a guy who's going to come off. He's going to come out of the game 4 or 5 times in the game. I'm like, you're going to get frustrated. Like the one thing I kept seeing yesterday was all these Dallas fans going, "Oh, well, he played 15 games last year, and he was Pro Football." I said, "Dude, he played 15 games, but he came out of every game."
Yeah.
Like
he pulls himself out,
and
he pulls himself
out, draws penalties.
Yeah,
that's what you're signing up for.
But anyway, getting back to college, Penn State got lucky.
Yeah,
Thursday night they got real lucky
off that pick six too.
Sean Clifford's horrible. I like the Roethlisberger clone that they have behind him. I don't know if me and Al were talking about this before we came in. He literally dropped the ball between 2 defenders, about 25 yards downfield. If this wide receiver for Penn State or tight end didn't have feet for hands, I mean, it was a perfectly thrown
ball. His name's
ball.
Drew Allar.
Drew Allar.
He's like 6'5", 220 pounds. That's
why
they say he's like a Ben Roethlisberger, but he can sling the ball. Like
he can sling. Dude, he threw a ball on a line drive that the receiver, like he was only in for 3 plays because, again, Sean Clifford gets hurt. Okay? And James Franklin cannot, and I repeat, cannot make in-game adjustments. He is the worst. And I'm sorry, that defense was as soft as
Oh my God.
baby shit. I'm sorry, I don't like to curse, especially
Yeah.
on a Sunday morning, but their
Right.
defense was soft as baby poop because whenever they needed to try to stop Purdue, that quarterback was eating that defense up for lunch.
Yeah, Adrian O'Connell was.
Dude, look at the little, what was it, the wide receiver? Oh my God, could Gus Johnson?
He threw for 356 yards. I mean,
Yeah, and the one wide receiver had 200 yards catching. Like, can you imagine when they go against Ohio State? They're going to get smoked.
woohoo!
Like, I'm not looking forward to, like, if Penn State gets, they may get 5 wins this year. If they get more than 5,
You'll be surprised.
listen. I don't want Franklin there.
No, I'm with you.
Like, why would you give this idiot 10 years, a 10-year contract? He cannot beat nobody.
Oh my God,
Matty B's all over this dude.
Oh, baby.
Listen,
Well, there's no reason not to be the guy. If you look at it, he went to Penn State and he stuck with Penn State. He got offers from all the big schools, Ohio State to be one of them.
yeah, he turned Ohio State.
He turned them all down because he committed to Penn State and he never wavered from his commitment. So I mean, I think he's an Ohio guy, right?
Yes.
He's not from Pennsylvania or anything.
No, he's like right. He's like not that far away. He's like close.
Yeah.
I think his town's like right across the border.
Okay.
He's like a border town kid. So, but yeah, he turned down a lot of people. But the problem is he's going to have James Franklin as his head coach. Like, I'm sorry, but this dude does just not make in-game adjustments, dude. He's horrible.
No.
And
no.
I'll give the
He's from
defense.
Medina, Ohio.
Yeah, I'll give the defensive coordinator, what was his name, Manny Diaz.
Mhm.
He's the former Miami head coach. I'll give him time because Miami had a really good defense.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to give him some time to work with these kids, maybe a year or so. Get these guys because if you look at Penn State's defense, they're all sophomores and juniors. So they have a very young. They're replacing a lot. The only senior they have out there is Joey Porter Jr.
Right.
Which, by the way, he got his ass eaten alive too.
I mean, like I said, to talk about Sean Clifford, I don't think he had a bad game. He had 4 TDs, but
No, he had a bad game, dude. He was friggin' horrible. If you watch that game, there's no way. If you're a Penn State fan, you watch that game, you did not feel good about Sean Clifford at all. Like, I don't care how many TDs he had. That dude was running for his life all night. And to be honest with you, Purdue should have blew us out by 20.
dude, I mean, look, they made it a competitive game. Like I said, I thought it was over when he threw the pick 6. Like, I thought the game was over. I thought, Penn State lost this one, but luckily they pulled it out of their hats. And like you see, like I said, you and I talked about this even in the all-season league. As soon as we saw James Franklin get that contract extension, the big question was why? Why?
Because
I don't understand.
I mean,
either.
you know why? Because he's a good recruiter. He can recruit talent there. But I'm sorry,
Why
he's
would
a
talent
good.
want to go play for a guy like? I don't understand wanting to play for a guy.
Well,
like,
like I said, they got the number 1 running back in the country.
They got the
recruited.
number 1. They got the number 3 quarterback. That kid. What's his last name?
Alar.
Alar is the number 3 ranked quarterback. Okay, the number 1 running back. They also got the number 3 wide receiver. They also got the number 3 is number
Aller
3.
is a true freshman.
Yeah, he's a true freshman. That's something that's very odd too, because true freshmen don't usually dress at Penn State.
No,
That's been a thing
Redshirted.
forever. They're always forever. So that tells you what kind of special kid that is.
right.
That just the fact that he's
Getting a start now. Just remember the Big Ten's only going to get stronger. And PSA
I don't know about that because you know what I watched.
No,
I watched Ohio State yesterday. Like I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here. I'm kind of talking both sides out, but like I'm more frustrated with how Penn State looked. But I also watched, Ohio State struggle with Notre Dame last night too. And I mean
Right.
Notre Dame is a decent team, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I just you're gonna have to wait and see. I guess. I mean that's the only thing I can say. I'm not real high up on.
All right.
Franklin.
Well, let me ask you this question outside just Penn State for a second. I mean, they announced that was it 2026. There's going to be a 16-team
Yeah.
playoff.
Yeah, but did you see that sham though?
What?
Yeah, if you don't play a title game, you can't get the top. You can't get the top 4 seeds. If you do not play, so in other words, an independent.
So you're automatically top 4 seeds if you get a title game.
Yes. If you have a conference, you have to win a conference championship.
Well,
To be that to me that's not an even playing field because teams like Notre Dame who are independent but play a hell of a schedule. You're basically telling them you don't play. You don't play.
Is that forcing them to?
Yeah, it's forcing them to join a conference, and I don't think that should be. If you're forcing teams to join a conference, then you tell all the independent teams.
Well, that's my whole thing. Is why,
go.
why have like you would think by now with college football, like what would it to people like? I know a lot of people love football who aren't college football guys.
Mm-hmm.
They may watch just to see who's the young up and team or young up and coming players, or they watch the big names, your Alabamas, your Georgias. Or Ohio States or whatever. My thing is why don't they just make conferences based on location? Save on because the one thing that they complain about is traveling. Especially a lot of these guys that travel across the country.
What do you think is going to happen next year when UCLA and USC join the Big Ten West?
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't like my point is why don't they just do that? Do it like they do in football, like in NFL. And let the best record of them shine, and if there's anything that's you have to have a playoff game in between there
because that would make too much sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? The NCAA is not about making sense; they're about making money.
Yeah.
So for them,
Penn State's kept Franklin because they like the way he recruits. He's regressed over the years. I honestly think the program is going to have a down year. Franklin handcuffed Clifford to who always has sucked. And this team won't go anywhere until at least the QB changes.
Well, Dom, you ain't got to worry about that because I think
Dom.
Clifford's eligibility runs out this year. So,
okay, correction, it is 12.
It's 12 teams. But I was reading into that because me and a friend of mine were talking about that, and he actually brought it up, and I was like, dude, that sucks. I'm like, if you're a major independent, you don't play you don't play if you don't play a conference championship game, then right away you're getting from 5 to 5 on down, and that's a disadvantage. That ain't right. Just because you're an independent. So again, a team like Notre Dame, who I'm not a Notre Dame guy. I don't, but it's unfair. They play a tough schedule.
I laugh at Notre Dame. I'll tell you why.
Because they always get shellacked.
No, it's not even just that. Like I grew up in this area. I went to South Bend 4 or 5 times in my life. I've been to like 5 or 6 Notre Dame games.
Really?
Never been there.
Never.
A good friend of my family's. They run O'Leary's Funeral Home right around the corner. They were known. Before there was like a Philly sports trips or anything. They put 8 to 9 buses together. We went to Rutgers to watch Notre Dame play Rutgers one year. I just want to have fun, eat, drink, and have a good old time. I could care less. I had no interest in the
sounds
game.
about right.
And I was always a Penn State fan. The one day I walked into their office. My grandfather worked there for many years. I walked in the office. I was wearing a Penn State jersey. Just like didn't even think about it. The guy's like, "Get out, take that off, leave it at the door, then you can come back in."
My uncle's house was the same way.
Yeah, like
my uncle had all Irish.
I love how because you're Irish, you have to
yes.
Notre Dame. Like I never understood that.
I used to get that all the time because I'm Irish and Italian, so I would get it from both sides of the family because I had the Italian side that would be betting on the games, so they're like, and I was a Penn State guy, and back then Penn State and Notre Dame actually played each other, which was great. I wish they would rekindle that, but like I would walk in and like I had the old Kijana Carter Nike. Penn State jersey. I'll go walking in. Uncle's like, take that off. I was like, absolutely not. We are. And I would sit down. And he'd be like, we're watching Notre Dame on this TV. I'm like, you can watch Notre Dame on that TV. I'm going downstairs and watching
I guess that's for
a real team.
And I would love to have that conversation for another time. But and I love, all the guys here, that we're a big family. But I got to sit down, Joe Sullivan, Joe Marks, Tom Kelly, that's sort of I want to know, what's the love with Notre Dame?
Here's the love, and it's like the Dallas Cowboys scenario, okay? And Notre Dame was.
Are you saying Notre Dame is the Dallas Cowboys of
college football?
You're not wrong in the sense that
the
people there's unwavering love around the country because they're Irish,
right?
Yeah. Just like because people used to love the Dallas Cowboys around the world and around the country.
Well,
and
here's that.
They haven't let it go.
Well, here's the thing. Early on in college football, let's keep it a bean. Notre Dame was thrown down everybody's throats, just like the Dallas Cowboys were when they were quote unquote America's team.
Right.
They were thrown down everybody's throats. So it's either you hated them or you loved them.
So if you had any Irish heritage, you had to like Notre Dame.
Oh, I used to get torn apart.
It's a French school, by the way, but keep going.
But,
yeah,
right, exactly.
Let me just tell
But
you
it
that.
is. I mean, if you
They got-
well, that's a perfect comparison. But it is. If you look at it right around those, like Notre Dame is, oh look, hey, sorry, Joey, it is what it is, there, man. Like they're just as bad, and they're just as delusional too. Because
right.
I've only met about maybe like 4 or 5 really like down to earth Notre Dame fans that would look and just be like, okay, yeah, we're not as good, or we're lucky to be there. It's like where they're very similar to Cowboy fans. And you know what? I think Eagle fans and Penn State fans are kind of almost similar too, if you look at it, because it's always like we're always chasing. You know what I mean? Eagles are always trying to chase the Cowboys in championships and stuff like that. Penn State was doing the same thing, with Notre Dame. So I guess it's kind of I don't know. To me, they both fan bases are kind of like all 4 fan bases are kind of similar to like their college. The pro, how can I put it? Cowboys and Irish are very similar. Their fan bases are similar, and then Penn State and Eagles. Fan
Well, like
bases
you
are
said,
similar.
it's rare that you come across both, fan bases that are down to earth will tell you when they suck and all that stuff. It's like it's very rare that you get the honesty, of both fan bases. But like you said, it's like a comparison. I mean, they look, they're very passionate about their teams, and I get that. So, but listen, before we get out, I do want to touch on one more segment. Look, the fall's here. Of course, for us sports guys, us 4 for 4 sports guys, Christmas is next month because you get all 4 teams playing. However, talking about the fall, how do you guys feel about all 4 teams heading in? I mean, if you were to power rank, however you want to cookie cut it, how do you guys feel about all 4 teams right now? And like, okay, for me, I even though, like I said, we're talking about the little deficiencies that the Phillies are going on, I still like them. I think they're going to be doing. Look, I think they'll be, like I said, my expectations are they'll be a second round knockout in the postseason. But like I said, if they could go more, they go farther. I think the Sixers are going to be a decent team. I think they upgrade the bench. I think that's exactly what they needed. Does it pass in the second round? All that remains to be seen. The Eagles, I think, are going to be a very decent team.
When you say decent, give me a record.
Um,
High or low, above, more than 9 wins, less than 9 wins. Give me something.
9 wins. I'll say they'll.
You're saying they're only getting 9
wins.
Okay.
And now look, to throw the green sunglasses on. I think that Jalen Hurts takes that next step of being a better pocket passer. Just being how, like Mike said back in April, that he'll be, he can upgrade his game to like a Josh Allen kind of a guy. That's me being honest. The Flyers.
Wait, did you just tell me that they're only going to go 9 wins, but he's going to jump up to be Josh Allen this year?
No. Well, I'll take he'll upgrade his game because he's going to have all that help in the wideouts. With the wideout and tight ends. I think he'll, like I said, he's going to have a lot of help with him, so that's going to carry him to 9 wins. However, like I said, but back to the Flyers, I just got no hope. I'm sorry, I'm just being real.
You shouldn't. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
If you did, that would be the most orange colored.
Yeah,
it would be orange colored glasses or the orange painted glasses. You'd be walking in the walls all day long.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, you have a goaltender who's still in his prime. You have a defenseman now. You brought him from Carolina, Tony DeAngelo. Now, then all of a sudden, you had a shot to bring home the South, a top 10 talent, and you just snuffed your nose at it, which I could sit here and slam my head against this table all day long just thinking about that idiotic move.
We'll have a video for you guys later.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm definitely not going to run around the corner and stick my junk in the sandbox.
All right, that's it. No, I'm going here
on,
because you've been rambling for the last 5 minutes.
Hold on, because I'm not done yet. But if there's, for the lacrosse guys, if you're out there, please tell me how you feel about the Philadelphia Wings. For Gus and also, if you guys are watching,
they picked up they picked up like the best scorer in the league, didn't they?
Wings are wings.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah, and same thing for you. I know, like the unions are going after the some kind of shield or whatever. I'm hearing like that's like the best thing going. So I mean, like I said, I follow the union. Like I said, I'm getting more and more involved with it. Like I said, the best team in the East right now. So, I want everybody, just because when I say 4 for 4, it doesn't mean that, when I say 4 for 4, that means kind of like all the teams in Philly sports. But Mike, I will go to you. How do you feel about the just
Damn, it's about time, man. Did you long-winded as hell? A 10-minute segment, man, of nothing but
I
hearing
can go
Papa
10, I can go a 10-minute match on
Yeah, I can tell. Oh, Jesus, God, can I get a word in?
Yeah, you get
Okay,
something else
anyway,
in.
no.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Guess what? I'm not worried about the Sixers or the Flyers until it's time to worry about the Sixers and the Flyers, and that's in October. I'm not worried about them right now. I'm focusing on the Phillies and the Eagles right now. So you're saying that, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing what he said here was, you think Jalen's going to take the next step and become a little bit better, getting closer to maybe that ceiling of Josh Allen, but you only have him winning 9 games. No, that total's gone out. For me, I got him winning 12.
So here's my thing: is looking on paper, I could see 12, but it's the Eagles. They will lose games they should win,
and they'll also wings games that they'll lose.
Yeah, but they're usually 2-to-1 ratio. So
No.
I'm gonna go 10-11.
All right, that's
I know
fair.
it's only like a game or two difference, but they will drop a game that they shouldn't.
Right, and I'm going to go opposite of that. They're going to win a game that they shouldn't too.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles do that every year.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I got them going 12, and the reason why I got them going 12 is because of their defense. Now, only question is, will Gannon use them the right way? But I still think they're 8. They literally can rotate 8 defensive linemen. They are going to eat up offensive linemen.
Yeah.
They're going to eat them up. Okay. They still probably got the best rushing attack in the league. And that's with Miles Sanders. And I love the pickup of Sermon, by the way, too. Trey Sermon. Wait till you see this. I watched him play, man. I watched him play at Oklahoma, and I watched him play at Ohio State. That kid can run the ball. 49ers were stupid for cutting him.
Well, and I watched the Birds IQ too with not Vinny Quinn, Kyle Quinn, and he did a phenomenal job on Miles Sanders. And he brought up like a really good point. Like Miles Sanders still, is still an X factor in all this. Like he's still got,
but he's got to be healthy.
Right.
Listen. I'm a Penn State guy. Okay, I watched Miles Sanders play in college. I watched Saquon Barkley play in college. They were beasts. But it's just there's something about those Penn State running backs that when they cross over from leaving Happy Valley to go to the NFL, something happens, and they just don't become as productive. You're right. Miles Sanders is an X factor. Dude, he can take it to the house. He can break them long. But the problem with Miles Sanders is he'll break an 80-yard run, and then, then he's out for two games, like hamstring soreness. So if he can stay healthy, the Eagles, with them picking up Sermon, okay, they are going to have a nasty, nasty four-headed monster running back. Okay, because you got Gainwell, who can catch the ball coming out the backfield. You got Boston Scott, who's a switch army. He's a Swiss Army knife too. Okay, you have Sermon, who can pound the ball. Like you legitimately got a guy now that if you're on the goal line, you don't need Jalen Hurts to run.
Listen, I like what I hear about him. This is where the proof's in the pudding type situation for me, because these guys, he just got if he's that good, he did get let go.
Because listen, I understand where you're about to go with this.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan don't use a power running back.
No.
But take a look, Raheem
my
Mercer.
point is we also tend, on the flip side, we can make any mediocre running back look great because of our linemen. So, like I said, I've clamored more than probably anybody on this network for a big beefy back who can just pound that ball. Calm down there, pal.
Look, you said big and beefy, Pat. Start smiling.
To answer Dom's question, do we still think the Phillies can reach 90 wins?
I think they're going to get.
Here's your mathematic. Here's your thing: is they're 17 games out from 90. If they 17 wins away from 90, they have about 29 games, including today, I believe. You got two series against
92. 92.
You have 2 series against the Braves and a series against Houston at the end. But the rest of them, I think, I'll tell you right now.
It's Florida and Washington.
You got a few against Florida. You got 2 against Marlins, 2 against the Nationals. The Cubs are 3, and that's it. So,
you're forgetting Toronto too. Toronto comes
2 against Toronto. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be tough.
I think they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
So
they can get it. It's very gettable. Doable.
But getting back to the Eagles.
Yeah.
The only area where I see them having a little bit of issue
Okay.
with it is their special teams. Their special teams has been kind of they've been kind of ass. I'm not gonna lie.
No, they've been very much
Okay,
ass.
but I'm also,
Not
but
wrong with that.
I'm liking, I'm really liking the way this offense is set up because it's getting to a point now. It's who you going to cover.
Right.
You know what I mean? Who are you going to cover? If you try to take away AJ Brown, now you got Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, you know, even Quez Watkins. You know, one of those guys are going to be open. You know, and that's not including Kenny Gainwell or whoever coming out the backfield. If they start running and pounding the ball, they literally got 4 running backs that they can alternate. Like again, the where the Eagles, I think, are going to start whipping teams really, and you're going to see it is on the offensive line, on the offense and defensive line. They're going to start whipping teams. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you, Rich, right now, next week's game, a lot of people are looking past the lines. That's going to be a fist fight. Dan Campbell's going to have that team ready to play.
I don't think a lot of people are looking because again, your first game is you have a lot of questions and all that stuff.
Preseason game 4
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all your starters.
right. It kind of gets you thrown into the jacuzzi a little bit. But no, Mike. So again, you touched on the Eagles, you touched a little bit on the Phils, but no, I'm just saying your overall.
I think the
Sixers.
I think the Sixers upgraded. I think they can literally. I think they can vie for the Eastern Conference Final.
Really?
Yes. Even with the team they have right now, and they're still not done signing people too. One of the Marsh brothers is looking to come here too. So
that's a big upgrade.
Yeah. So I'm looking at them. I think they can, especially if Harden is doing all the right things that I'm hearing that he's doing. One, he's like I heard this week that he brought Joel Embiid out to California along with PJ Tucker. They've been all working out together. To me, that's something. That's a mindset, you know. And you got to take your hat off to Harden because
being a leader.
He's being a leader. And who would ever thought you would hear leader and James Harden in the same sentence, but he is.
Well, I think it comes with age, maturity, and the fact that he knows his just like we always talk about in Embiid's window of opportunity, his window is probably closing just as fast, if not faster in some ways.
Right.
He's one bad injury away from being career ending.
Right. And I'll tell you what, I mean, and you're seeing, what else I'm loving too? Like you're seeing videos of Maxey practicing too.
Yeah.
Like Maxey, he's working on his craft.
Maxey seems to be like a guy just like photocopies everything in his head that he sees. Like,
yeah,
that's why I said just keep putting him around good players with good work ethics.
And
that guy already has a great work ethic, but just good players with good.
He's such a good kid.
Good, good details, and the devil's in the details. Whole saying, like, just everything around. Let him just keep watching and keep doing what he does.
Now, you know what else I like too, and as much as we killed Doc Rivers. Like me and you have killed Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Okay. I love what Doc Rivers is doing. He's taking them away. He's taking them away for
where they go, West Virginia, right?
Yeah, no, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
They're going to South Carolina for beginning of training camp. That's where he's taking them. He wants them to bond right from the get-go. The last time he did that was the year that he won the championship in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And he felt that it was the need to do that. He felt he wanted to get him out of here. I give Doc credit for that. So I think the Sixers can. I mean, barring injury.
Where they go? What's the place called? Not the Coliseum. I keep hearing what they call the place that they're going to.
It's on it's Siena University. I think they said it was.
Hold on.
Yeah, they're going to some. I know they're going.
Well,
that's
good. That's a good thing because I can see why he's doing it. Get away from the Northeast corridor. Get away from all the sports radio. Get away from all the white noise, if you will, and just stick to just being that bond and just really training, and that's good stuff.
As far as my beloved Flyers go, if you go to a Flyers game this year, that's just a night to get out of the house. It's like I'm not expecting too much.
I wonder how much Sixers or Flyers tickets go for this year. Are they?
Oh my
God! Are they giving me $10 to take them?
Yo, listen, you're gonna see like by December, they're gonna be, dude. Santa sacks are gonna be like $20.
Santa sacks,
like they used to be 150. Like the Flyers.
You have no optimistic for this team at all. I don't.
I don't listen.
There's still too much unknown. Is Ryan Ellis going to come back? Like, is this dude like? If he's not going to come back, dude, get rid of him.
Here's my thing: I think everybody's going into the season with zero expectations, or the only expectation is for them to suck. You know what I mean? And that's fine. And that's the way it should be.
Why not? Let's be bad for a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, why can't we be bad? Why can't we be bad and get some of these top-notch players that are coming out?
Because you have dinguses like Chuck Fletcher doing making
Well,
his
listen,
call.
I mean, no offense, but you got idiots above them too.
Mm.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't feel like I felt like since Snyder died, like there's no direction with the Flyers.
Well, here's my thing: is I'm not trouncing Dan Snyder, but what has he done during his time? So, like, there's a lot of people.
Listen. You can one thing you can never knock Snyder for. Snyder used to bring the players in.
No,
it was just always. It was either a coaching matter or he was trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. Like he was the guy with the hammer going, it'll fit.
We'll get a fit. Yeah.
But you can't never knock them for not going out and getting the best players. Like the Flyers were always at the top of spending money, going out and trying to win a cup. So
and our boy Matty B here, he is known for the Fighting's finals, which is going to be going on from here to the end.
I can't wait to talk hockey with Matt too.
So you might see Mike and Pat here joining him post game, which it's going to be lovely called Clear the Ice.
Yes. Well, you see that beautiful set of hair on top of Matt's head. Well, that's all coming out after this season. That's all.
No, not really, because if you go in with low expectations, like I mean, if you're looking at them on paper right now, man, the Flyers
they make the playoffs. Can you imagine this team makes the playoffs or something? Just like ridiculousness.
Pat would be running around. He goes streaking on Broad Street
right now.
I think he'll do it anyway. That's beside the point.
Woo! See Pat running down,
And you're only a scar, and you're only a scar for like a half hour. I'm just letting you know that now. But listen, even like Pat Gallen asked Chuck Fletcher in that press conference, like, "What's your sales pitch to bring people in?" And it's like, "Oh, well, you upgraded defensively and all this other."
We have good cheese sticks.
Yeah, I mean, like Justin Braun you brought back.
That's what that blew my mind. What? Dude, I could not wait to get him out of here. Could not, dude. They traded him. Was it last year they traded him?
Yes.
Last year they traded him. I'm doing backflips, right? I'm like, yes, my big ass was doing backflips because they got rid of him. And what's he do? He brings them back. That guy is slow.
And you know why they trade him? Because he's on one-on-ones. He gets outmatched. So he's a thrift store shop. That's all he is.
And we traded you for.
That's what they do. You got businessmen running his team. You know that, right?
Obviously, because
guys who are looking for. Well, you said you needed a pair of scissors. They may not be able to cut through any paper, but you know what? They were only at 37 cents, so it works out.
I mean, it's just crazy. Bad. I mean, like I said, I love to know the fly on the wall. The reason why you didn't want a top 10 talent, it still boggles my mind. He wanted to come home, and you said no.
Oh,
they don't want to spend the money
right now.
It's all about the money. They know they suck. They know he will tell you they're retooling. They're not retooling. They're just tooling.
I would trade every person on that team.
Dude, the only way it's going to make any type of sense with the Flyers is that their season ticket sales. People are just going to go, no, we don't want season tickets. You're not. That's the only way.
That's the other. I'm telling you, that's the other reason they didn't sign Johnny Hockey.
Right.
Because they knew that they're going to be down ticket sales, especially in season ticket sales. Because remember, they base a lot of that on what they know that's coming in. And they base how much those guys are going to spend when they come there and all that stuff. They know they're going to be down for the next few years.
Right.
And it's just like this. Just like the Sixers when they went through, they went through their tanking.
Yeah, this is the Flyers process.
Yeah, but I don't know what their process is. That's the point. At least the Flyers, the Sixers came and said, "We're losing on purpose. We want to get a lot of first-round draft picks, high draft picks. We want to stock the pile."
Right.
The Flyers haven't said that or done that.
Yeah, but the part is, it's mind-boggling because you have a goaltender in his prime. You brought in Tony DeLangelo, who's a top, quality defenseman. You cleared up cap space. You got rid of Oscar Lindblom. We thought this was going to be the move, and then you just, nothing. Terrible.
Maybe they had a thought.
I know
Can I ask you the opposite then, Pat?
What's that?
Let's play this out how it most likely would have happened. So they got Johnny Hockey. Let's say that. Do you feel putting Johnny Hockey on the team currently as it is for the most part, we are destined for a playoff push?
No.
Right. Wait, if he was on
this team,
no.
With Johnny Hockey,
no.
I think it makes the team better.
Playoff push.
Question.
Do they get to the playoffs?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
You still saying that?
No. With Johnny Hockey, no. Listen to my voice. No. He's not that. Listen, he had pieces around him in Calgary. It wasn't just him. Okay? Him coming here, he would have had to shoulder the load. Listen, the best thing for Johnny Hockey is he's playing in Columbus. Ugh. And as sad as it is, I mean, just the fact, listen, just the fact.
Every year.
Oh, come on, stop. He's a good player. He's going to kick every team in the nuts.
Yeah, but
I mean, like, he's not going to sit there and go, "Oh, the Flyers didn't take me, so I'm going to." No, come on, dude. Like, it happens.
I don't think he's going to do that, but I don't think that he's sitting there circling every Flyers game on the calendar.
No, but I'm not just saying. But like, it's going to hurt us. Like the fact that he's going to be banging on Carter.
It's going to hurt on everything.
Right.
We're going to be struggling against. Here's the thing we have to understand, and Philly,
Dude, we're going to lose to everybody.
Philly fans don't do this often, okay? But we need to understand. We always look like, all right, Phillies fans. Oh, at least we're not the Marlins. At least we're not the Pirates.
Guess what? We're going to be that team in the NHL where everybody goes, "Well, at least we're not the Flyers."
Eagles are going, at least we're not the Jags. Or
I'm going to
or a team that's usually annually sucky.
Yeah,
we are that team right now. The Flyers are that team. They are not going to be a good team. They are a patchwork team. I'm sure Matty B is probably like, let's see what he has to say. It's the blank check statement that pisses me off. We all know the team is in rebuild. The truth is we drafted bad and we have nothing. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. And I always go back and say that too. Blank check. We're going to do whatever we can do to make this team better. And like you said, you had an opportunity where a guy who's looking past the fact that we suck, past the fact that we have nothing, like, as a top tier hockey player. What would I want to come to Philly for?
And there are other. The other part of his statement, Chuck Fletcher's statement, was that he's hoping that, that's why I went off on that article, because he said that we're hoping that Sean Couturier and Kevin Hayes has a bounce back year. And I'm like, dude, every year they're trimming, they're going down. Their stats.
Ifs and buts for candies and nuts every day would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, I like nuts.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I honestly do believe that Kevin Hayes and Coots could have a bounce back year. That I definitely believe in.
Sure can happen.
Because, one, like I said, Kevin Hayes, it wasn't right from the moment the season kicked off last year. His brother died. He was dealing with injuries. He had a messed up year.
Mhm.
Okay. Couturier got hurt. So, yes, you got to hope for the best with those two guys. And I think they'll be okay with those two guys. And I think those two guys will have a bounce back year. But other than those guys, they don't have nothing. They don't have nothing. And I'm sorry. I think Fletcher gets this year. I think he's going into this year.
If you're if you're an owner or an organization in a rebuild year, or not a retool year, most likely not. He probably gets another couple of years.
I don't think so.
How do you judge a guy based on we know that we're not doing our best?
Because listen, when you start seeing a half,
Just like Brett Brown, like Brett Brown had.
Yeah, but listen, the Sixers still got, believe it or not, in those lean years. I used to go to Sixers games because the tickets were so cheap.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing, though.
Here.
They, out of a 20,000 seat arena, dude, they would have 13,000 people down there. You know what I mean? So they were still seeing something. Flyers fans, they're not going to go. You know what I mean? When you start seeing your ticket,
well, Dave Yarnold disagrees. He says, they're passionate. They will show up regardless of the outcome.
No, that's bull. That's bull.
Listen, they will be fans, but I don't care if the Eagles right now were looking to be a 4-win team. Do you think
different animal?
No, but hold on.
It's a different animal.
My question is, if the Eagles were going to be destined to be a 4-win team right now, do you think Philly sports trips would be putting out almost 1,000 players to Washington right now? I'm not saying they wouldn't have trips. I'm not saying people wouldn't go on them. But do you think 1,000 people would be going out? Do you think?
I don't know about 1,000, but I know 500
would be down.
The numbers would be down.
Yeah.
But
so all numbers go down, no matter how passionate the fan base is. Because do you know what you're going to do? Say to yourself, even if you're a passionate Flyers fan, you have a life going on.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, I am not.
I could just rest and not spend $150, $200 to go to a Flyers game.
Dude, like,
I'm good.
Listen, when I had Philly season tickets, like 2016-ish. And I had great seats. WB Mason sign where it kind of curves. I had 6 rows, first 4 seats.
Mm-hmm.
Great seats. Dude, by the end of the year, I was giving them away. Like I couldn't even resell them. I was like, here.
Well,
I'm like, you want to go to a game tonight, dude? Like, I'm like, here.
Yeah, that's like I said. I think the Flyers cheap because most of them are. I'm sorry to call them that, but
they're not cheap, dude. The problem is with the Flyers is that it's a loyal fan base, and what I mean by loyal is, and you can't say that either because you're a loyal because you're upset. So you're a little bit, you're sheep too.
Oh, I know. I'm bad.
Well, wait. Here's my question. What do you mean by sheep?
Sheep. I mean the guys who Chuck Fletcher could tell them this is going to be a Stanley Cup contender. Okay, we are. And then
that's the same noise that comes out of his bedroom at night.
Yes. Yeah. And
see, I like that.
It's going back.
I like what Maddie's saying there, man. And looking at Connor Bednar, Sweepstakes for the first.
I think he's saying I think the plan is we are more competitive, but it doesn't equal wins. Almost $14 million coming off the cap next summer, and Connor Bednar sweepstakes with the first pick. The needle won't start moving until next summer.
I think he's right, but the problem is I have a problem with Chuck Fletcher making the decisions. This is why I'm saying this might be his last year.
Well,
because the fan base is, believe it or not, like a fan base has the power to make people change their mind on what they're
especially
doing.
when they see empty seats.
Like if you're getting 9,000 people or 8,000 people at a Flyers game.
Well, that's why you think. Here's my thing: is why do you think Carter Hart's still on this team? Because they need something to work around. They need something to build around.
Listen,
and they won't. They won't. If you let everything go, like if you just sell off everything, you're not going to have asses in the stands. It's just how it is.
Yeah, but listen, if you go, I'm sorry, dude.
No, go ahead.
If you can't get away with that here, because not to be funny, we are smarter than the average bear.
Yeah, well,
when it comes
got
to
away
that.
with it for many years.
But that's the Sixers. Like nobody, nobody cared about the Sixers. Let's keep it a
I think the process softened some of the Phillies fans to accept this kind of stuff now.
No, they softened Sixers fans.
No,
not Phillies.
I hear a lot more excuses coming around, and people always turn right back to the process.
Well, yes, but okay. First of all, I want to piggyback what you were saying about this. The Flyer fan base, like I said, they're selling you Gritty. Like Gritty is your most marketing thing to sell, and at some point, I think the fans are not funny anymore when you're losing. I think I think they've gotten the point like this. Like I think they've understanding like this is a bad team, and they're starting to walk away from what they're seeing with this. But like you said, you got that hardcore loyal fan base that always will be.
Yeah, but even some of them like
or turn away. And to your point of but the Sixers told you what their plans are. Like they're going to suck for a few years. Their plans are to get high draft picks and making this to a championship contender. Like the Flyers have no direction. They're bringing this guy. They're telling you this story.
They're sending mixed signals,
right? And it's you can't. It's like how you feel about it.
We got an open checkbook, but yet you don't go get the best player.
It's not open. It's open, but we're not.
No, it's not open at all. Like
like
that's what I'm saying. And I feel.
And I hate to say this. This coming out of my mouth is gonna piss some people off. But we sit here and bang on a lot of teams for living in the past. I think, like you guys saying, Flyers fans have finally stopped living almost 50 years. Almost 50 years since the Flyers will raise the Stanley Cup. Now, over that time frame, there's been a handful of good years. Like in the 80s, they had time. Late 90s, they had Legion of Doom type situations, and then we had 2010. We had that
magical run, yeah.
But that's it. I mean, but almost 50 years. I mean, like I said, I'm going to use the Cowboys reference. Guys, go back, get your videotapes and.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the Flyers, you got to get a reel.
Yeah.
Real movie, real projector.
You got to go to Grandpa's house and ask him to tell you about the good old days.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I heard of this thing called the Stanley Cup. I've never seen it, but
right. I don't know what. Like again, like everyone goes like it always tells me like, oh yeah, we got to bring back guys who could fist fight. Like we need more goons and blah blah. Like no, the game has changed. You need skilled players, and you haven't had a skilled player. You trade your most skilled player.
Everybody needs to stop with that. You need to. It's balance. Everything's balance. I always tell people this. Like this is what drives me nuts. We need this guy. We need this type of guy. No. You need balance. All right. It's just like how many you're going to sit there, and if the Eagles lose or win, you're like how many passing attempts versus how many running attempts. Same thing with this. I think you saw it in the bubble, right? Here comes the Flyers. They had a good season that year. They pushed in the bubble. Then they go up against the Islanders, right? And they got smoked. Why did they get smoked? Because they got out muscled.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like, all right, this guy came in and beat him up, sat there and kept slugging with them. They were aggressive, but they were still skilled players with speed behind them.
And their defense was much better.
And they had a better coach.
They had a better defense.
Stop looking for skill. Stop looking for speed. And stop looking for strength and tough guys. Look for somebody who can fit the mold up to 2 or 3 and fit it in with those pieces in. That's what needs to be done. We sit here and we just keep one at a time. No, we need people who can fit the mold in certain areas in more than just one way.
Right.
I mean, in the Eagles' success over the last years, it has been the versatility of this team that has allowed them to do that. So Flyers need versatility. Every team needs versatility.
So, all right. Well, listen, you've heard me and Mike. Al, let me go to you. How do you feel about all 4 teams heading into the fall? How do you feel?
Look, one for one. All right, Eagles. I feel very. I feel very confident with the Eagles. I mean, they'll have your letdown moments. It's not going to be everybody like this peaches and creams, 13 wins, 12 wins. On paper it should happen that way, but I think realistically you're looking at 10 to 11 wins. There's going to be some drop off somewhere. They're going to lose games, whatever. But I still think they do have a chance to be the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. I mean, there's no team I look at right now, and
that's so much better.
There's no team in the NFC right now that makes me go, they're the top tier.
Yeah.
Like, I think LA is going to have a bit of a drop off a little bit. I still think they're going to be good, but they'll have a bit of a drop off.
I think Tampa too.
Tampa is going to struggle, and we saw them happen with that. Like they have missing some key pieces. Who else is in the NFC? That's like, is it
San Francisco,
San Fran? Who
could
they're always sneaky, weird, good. Like they come off like.
Well, I heard their schedule earlier. Like, they got I thought the Eagles had an easy.
Listen, their division. Thank God bless we're not in that division. I mean, you got. Now the Seahawks are taking
finally taking a step back.
Yeah,
but they got
for years. You had 4 teams that could easily be top tier,
and they get to beat each other up.
Yeah,
too.
And there's another one, Arizona. Arizona. I'm not huge on Arizona either. Like, so could the Eagles put a fight up and go out and ball out? Sure. So there's that one. Flyers we just talked about. They're gonna suck. I know they're gonna suck. They're gonna kind of like what Matty B said. They'll put some scrappy plays together. But they won't add up to enough wins to give a damn.
Yeah, we won't be on. We won't be doing any Winter Classics anytime soon.
I think the Sixers are going to be pleasantly surprising, even though that should be surprising. They're a good team. It's the only thing that worries me is health with all the in between Embiid, and he's usually the top, but he's not even the top for me. Harding, PJ Tucker, these guys are all older guys. I mean, you have to worry about that a little bit. They brought the DeAnthony Melton. I think really flies on the radar. I think it's a huge pickup for them for what they had to give up because they were going to get a nobody. I'm saying they're going to get nobody, but they weren't going to get the odds of getting another Maxey was going to be slim to none, and him be able to contribute right away. You need to contribute. You need somebody to contribute right away.
Mm-hmm.
And Phillies. I mean, this is my thing is, guys. People get I see you get all frazzled walking in here, but I think we forget. Let's go back to 2008 again. I'm not saying it's a World Series year, but just let's go back to that 2008, 2009, 2010. Now, as we got later, yes, they were in a 100+ win team. We were at the top of the division then. But in 8, 9, and 7, 8, 9, they weren't. They struggled. They had these moments against bad teams. We just forget that because we had such fond memories. But when you do not remember 162 games plus all the playoff games, you remember the good moments. Right. So that's why I'm not getting all upset about anything. Let's see how this plays out. If we're on here next week talking and they're still on the slide, okay, brown pants.
Ooh. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, man. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting fall. We'll see what happens there. Next week, I will not be in the house. I'm heading to Disney. So, yeah, I love I love football season down there because, like I said, Philly fans are hated.
So we have the weekend. Do we have the week off, or do you want me to come in here and do this? We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that stuff. But like I said, man, it's gonna be like I said, unfortunately, I won't be here. But like I said, man,
woohoo! Red Rocket free show next week.
Well, someone else will be catching the Red Rocket though. But anyways, guys, look, man,
I feel bad for already.
But look, man, let's wrap it up by giving our sponsors a shout out once again. For David R. Cherry, work compensation, medical vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law, man. Please hit up my man Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300. Guys, I'm telling you, hit him up if you need any of those.
Guys, don't forget to join me and Big Al. We will be going September 25th down to Washington. We're going to give Carson Wentz one last boo. You guys got a couple more days to jump in on this. It's a great deal from Philly Sports Trips. Only $325, man. It gets you a lower level seat. Your bus ride up and back. Mm-hmm. They're going to feed us, and they're going to give us drinks.
That's to, from, and when you're down there.
To, from, and when you're down there. Oh, my God.
If you look at any of the other trips out there, they have I'll admit there's a couple bucks lower, not much, but guess what? None of them are lower level tickets.
Yeah, they're all upper
They're
level.
all upper level, so you're overpaying even with the lower
And there's
price.
even going to be entertainment there. It could be Big Al swinging on a pole with a thong. It
Yeah.
could be me, maybe
What's up?
Joey Sheeran.
Yeah.
You know, Pat won't be there. He'll be playing with Minnie. Yeah,
Mickey.
Mickey and Minnie down
Yeah.
there. But I mean, hey, you get a chance to go down there. Of course, we'll be joined by John Barchard and Vinnie Quinn, Bell and the Birdman. We'll be joined by the mighty E-Rock. Hollis Thomas will be going down there as well. So make sure if you guys do click on it in the next couple of days, make sure you hit the EOP button. You'll be riding down with us,
Sure.
partying with us. And
Nothing like me at 6:30 in the morning.
oh yeah, listen, I may stay up from Saturday night.
Yeah.
But hey,
I
look,
already took off on Monday.
same here. I'm off. So
And it's not just this trip, guys. PhillySportsTrips.com. They have baseball trips. They already set their spring training trip up too, which I'm working on that personally myself right now. But it's going to be a great time. Check it out, and don't forget Dolan's Bar, 23 Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. Go there. Great place to watch the Phillies game today. I believe the great food from Wolf's will be back there today. I have to double check on that. I'll post something up later just to double check. And like I said, anything can happen. It's a great time. And our boy Spaz was actually bartending last night, so it's always a good time.
oh, nice.
And there you go, EOP. We're going to be busy. I'll be putting out the new schedule today for this week coming up. Monday's going to be a little lighter. I'll be honest. I'll just let you guys know because of the holiday.
Yeah.
A couple of shows are moving to different days or later into the week. But it's going to be a great time. It's going to be full, action packed, and you can still enjoy your delicious barbecue here on your Labor Day weekend.
Yes. So, guys, like I said, man, I want to thank all the viewers checking in, all the guys from the network checking in. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Guys, have enjoyed your Labor Day weekend with your loved ones. Have a good weekend, and we'll catch you next time.